Yes, sir. It's around my neck. Yes, sir. I don't know that I have a favorite episode. I remember being asked that before. I do remember enjoying particularly the designs, I think, in a story called The Ark in Space, which I thought was very well designed. And I remember something about a giant rat that I liked as well, yeah. What about that little girl there? Did I wear contacts in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad? No. She says that her mother's got a friend called Lil and wants to know if I'm up for adoption. Oh, Lil. Reckless Lil. Chicago Lil. The ghost train, yes. Yes, you. I was just about to do that. It's getting rather warm here. Thank you. There we are. Thank you. Yes, sir?
I've heard 3 different stories as to the origin of the scarf. Now, who was it supposedly knitted by? Was it Madame Defarge or Madame Defarge or who? Who knitted the original scarf?
Well, it's terribly simple. When we decided to use a scarf, the designer decided on the colors, which we saw on an ordinary scarf on someone in a pub. And we bought the wool and gave it to a woman called Begonia Pope, who for that reason will be a footnote in television history. And she got terribly excited that she was working for the BBC. We all get excited when you're working for the BBC. BBC's not just any old know-how station, you know. When you work for the BBC, poor. I mean, your knees shake and your heart skips in your chest, yeah. And Miss Pope was so excited to be working for the BBC and she was obviously a good knitter, and she knitted up all the wool. And when we got there, the scarf was 20 feet long. And we decided to be thrifty and save it, so we just folded it up, and that's how it happened. Yes, madam?
What made you bring back the delegate?
Bring them back? I thought I was being original when I actually... No, I thought... I didn't know why at the time I was liking Jelly Babies or something, and we just used them, I think, to sort of bridge... Sometimes if you've got nothing to say in a scene, you might say, do you want a Jelly Baby? And it sort of bridged a little gap, and that's how it all went on. That little girl there, the yellow hair slide. I can't hear you. Why did I stop being the doctor? Well, before I was struck off, I decided that it would be a good idea to give someone else a go. I mean, 178, I think, or 176 episodes, I thought was enough. Enough was enough, and I wanted to give someone else a chance. And so I drifted away and let someone else have a go. Yes, the man with the hat. Who was my favorite companion? Do you think I came over here on a banana boat? Do you think, you incipient little journalist, you? Do you think that I am going to tell you who was my favorite companion? When 4 or 5 of them are here right now, and I'm to have dinner afterwards with them? I refuse to answer that question on the grounds that it may ruin my dinner. Yes. What have I done in Shakespeare? Well, for the Royal Shakespeare last year, I was in a contemporary play, a new play called about education and subversion and disappointment and self-realization and drunkenness, and it was a comedy. Yes, it was a comedy, yes. Apparently they liked it a lot. We filled opera houses with it. There were only 2 people in it. Yes. He said that I was always saying that K9 was my second best friend, so who was my first best friend? No. You see, this little boy here is too young and too innocent to understand the corrupting influence of rhetoric. If I were, say, having dinner with someone and I was hoping to impress and overpower and God knows what else, I might say to her, this is to illustrate the point of the corruption of rhetoric, I might say, do you know, you are the second most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. What does the woman say? So far, this is going terribly well. To which I say, well, I think you are, but if I'd said that in the first place, you might have thought I was on the make. So, just because I said that to K9, that he was my second best friend, didn't mean that he really was a second best friend. I think that the Doctor had curious ideas about friendship. He used to say whatever came into his head sometimes, yes. A bit like me. Yeah, yes, in white. Would I ever consider going back to play Doctor Who? No. Yes, that girl over there? I can't hear you. Did I do my own stunts? Only once, and then I got badly hurt. And after that, I never did any. I think I once spilled some salt or something pretty dramatic like that. But otherwise, no. Other people did them for me, yes. I like the idea of sharing the work anyway. Yes, that girl there? I need some help on that one. Oh, it was just BBC grease. Yeah. So it wasn't the top quality grease, but it did. And I also deliberately brushed it through my hair just to make you laugh. I thought that was very funny to touch something filthy and poisonous and then do that, yeah. Yes. I think it would be better to kiss me at the end, don't you think? It would be... yes, that little boy there? How do I feel about Peter Davison tearing up my scarf? Did Peter Davison tear up my scarf? Right. Well, from now onwards, I'm going to snub him. Every time I see him, I shall flounce out of the room. Yeah. Tearing up my scarf. The minute my back's turned, they tear up my scarf. In blue. In blue? Who's talking in blue? Yes. You. You observed that I seem to have a certain liking for redheads.
Well, I mean, like, Ramona, the first one was basically a redhead, and Miguel had a head.
I think it's a bit more complicated than that, actually. I mean, I actually like women. Yeah, I do. Yes. You can snigger over there. There are very few men who like women. Very few. Lots of men love women, and lots of men maybe admire them, and some men even marry them, I understand. But I like them. Yes. Where do I live? We're downtown in Chicago. Yep. Yes. Say that again. What do I look for in a woman? Well, yeah, I don't know. I like to laugh a lot. I really do, yes. Yes. I didn't have a favorite episode, I'm afraid. You see, you must understand that sometimes I was working on 6 at a time. And quite often, people have said to me, watching Doctor Who, that you appeared to be very spontaneous. Well, I'm gratified to hear that I appeared to be very spontaneous. I promise you I was often very spontaneous because I didn't quite know what was going on, which is not unusual. Yes? Yes. I broke my shoulder trying to do a stunt. And I did it very badly, and that's why I gave up doing stunts. Yes, sir?
Whatever happened to the screenplay that you did with Ian Marter for the Doctor Who movie?
The screenplay that I did with, or the script that I did with Ian Marter, which was realised by James Hill. We showed to the BBC, and we showed all around London. And the BBC was particularly underwhelmed by the script. And other people weren't quite so underwhelmed, and so of course nothing happened to it, to the great grief of Ian Marter and me, but we've recovered. Actually, we talked about it last night and embraced each other and said that we both recovered, yes. So nothing happened to that. Yes, sir? There was no question, nor could there ever be in a television, in an ordinary television production, a question of improvisation, simply because you're working to 5 cameras, and the cutting from one camera to another is the business of a vision mixer, who actually cuts from one to the other on a pre-selected cue. So that's not true. It's a nice idea that you thought we might have been improvising. Yes? I can't hear. No, I don't think that there was any particular episode that took any more out of me than any other episode. Yeah, maybe the one with the rat when I had to go up and down a drain all the time. Yeah, that was hard. Yes, that little boy there. Yes.
Do you really think the nose is an improvement?
I feel rather out of that. Perhaps you'll explain.
After you regenerate with jumper training, that audio is an improvement.
Did I really say that? Well, I don't know if it's an improvement. I think I've learned to live with it anyway, yes.
I'd like 2 items. One, I'd like to know if you think Peter Davison has been a successful replacement for you in the show.
Here's another mixer here. I don't watch Doctor Who anymore, and nor will I be drawn into actually comparing one actor to another in front of an audience like this. This is terribly, that's an unfair question. That makes me feel quite tearful. No, I won't answer that. Yes, the girl in red? Well, I did used to watch Doctor Who a bit before, but when I watched it, well, of course, I do remember Bill Hartnell doing it, but I do remember particularly watching Pat Troughton do it. And I used to think sometimes watching Pat, gosh, I'd like to play that part, but in no serious way. It just used to flash through my mind. I liked the way Pat played it. I used to say, gosh, I'd like to do that. Then it went away, then it came back. Yes?
If you're playing someone like Sherlock Holmes with Dave Allen, Dr. Watson.
Would I consider playing Sherlock Holmes to Dave Allen as Dr. Watson? I think that I would have the same reaction to that as Dave Allen would do if someone said, would you like to play Sherlock Holmes and have Tom Baker playing Dr. Watson? And no, I'd be very skeptical about that. Yes, the girl with all the badges on. Go on. No, the girl behind. Yeah. Are you ever going to get to see my Sherlock Holmes? Well, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. I hope you like it. Yes. Yes.
Did you ever feel silly doing any of the things that Troughton did in
Did I ever feel silly when I was saying some of the lines or talking to some of the creatures or whatever? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. But I don't quite know. Maybe I'm reading more into that question than there is there. I don't mind really in the good cause of trying to divert an audience or to achieve a dramatic point of some kind, I didn't really mind being a bit silly. I mean, I'm often silly in my ordinary life, and I find lots and lots of factors in life indescribably silly. I mean, I find lots of politicians indescribably silly. And when I see the lines they get away with, they make me feel like Isaiah Berlin. Sometimes they even make me feel philosophical. The girl in green over there.
What kind of personal adjustments have you had to make? Like walking down the street and being recognized. Is there anything about that that you wish maybe you had more privacy?
Well, the lady wants to know what sort of adjustments have I had to make since I became recognizable in the street. And do I have to make special adjustments, and do I miss privacy and things like that? I don't think I made particularly any adjustments at all. I just brazen it out and walk down the street. And if someone says to me, says, hello, it's nice to see you, then I'm usually thrilled. When I was anonymous Tom Baker, nobody ever said to me in the street, gosh, it's good to see you, Tom. No one ever said that. And so that when people began to say that, and people began to say on trains, excuse me, could I give you a hug? I quite like that. Being hugged on trains, and which is unusual. I'm not typically British, although of course I am British. I'm not typical, because the British would rather be mugged than hugged. So reticent are they, but I don't mind the odd hug here and there, so it hasn't bothered me at all. And as for privacy, people who choose to work on television, or people who choose to be in movies, or whatever it is, and then start bleating about their privacy, instantly send me into a coma of boredom. I mean, the way to avoid that is actually to simply stay in one's room, or stay off television, or stay away from the public. I can't be doing with people who complain that they've got no privacy. Yes? Well, the doctor, no one knows. I think it's just a terribly old joke that at the very beginning when he said his name was Inchimakola Undola Titsi. He said, I'm Dr. Inchimakola Undola Titsi. And everyone said, Doctor who? I think it's just a terrible old British silly joke. And after that they just called him the doctor, yes? Yes. I appeal to a lot of children. Yes. Well, the people I admired, I mean, these are historical figures now, the people that I admired when I was young. But I really rather liked, I was caught up in the war, you see, so I quite liked all these flying aces and bombers and all that kind of thing. No, it was different in those days. There were Saturday morning films. There were some people, but no one I think of any. Yes? John Cleese did once appear in the show. But what is the question? Did he have what? Did he have a special interest in the show? I think he did have a special interest in the show, yeah. That's why he wanted to be in it. And he was just passing through, and we popped him in. Yeah, I think John liked it a lot. John also had a little girl, I think, who used to watch the show, yes. Yes, the girl in red. No, the girl, yes, you. Would I go with the doctor on a trip? Oh, yes, I might, if he asked me nicely. Yeah. I might, yes. Don't Pay the Ferryman has nothing to do with me. You should know this by now. That song is sung by Christa Berg. I wasn't in the video. That is actually Christa Berg himself with that sort of monk's cowl on, and he is only 5'3". And he doesn't have curly hair. No, I'm just explaining it to you. I'm not reproaching him for that. But just with that angle on that sort of, with that light coming up there, he does look like me. But that's the answer. It's Christa Berg. Yes? Did I enjoy making Vault of Horror? Yes, it was very difficult to keep my face straight, but I did enjoy making Vault of Horror, yes. I enjoyed being with Denham Elliott and Kurt Jurgens in that, yes. It was quite difficult to keep a straight face, yes?
I've got two questions. Did you have a favorite villain? And also, did you have any choice or decision in the costumes that you wore?
No, I didn't have any favorite villain, I don't think. I do remember a certain pleasure I took in the destruction of Davros, which was a kind of half machine, half human. I remember that being rather interesting. And no, I had very little influence on the costume. Very little. Yes. Yeah, with the lady with the camera. Yeah. Do I what? Do I feel an act of... No. I'm pretty philosophical about acts of God. I'm pretty philosophical generally, yeah. Yes?
Louise Jameson. Do you know what she said about you?
No, what did Louise Jameson say about me?
Crazy man.
She said I was a crazy man. Really, that Louise Jameson's quite perceptive. I wouldn't have really thought that, yeah. All right, well that's all right, isn't it? Yes, the lady in blue.